I just wanted to try to recite the verses again because the first time was like very lackluster, and I was just trying to get through it really quickly. So this is the second attempt. Verse 1. Please desist the brewing thoughts in my veins or words in my mouth or data up in the clouds or snapping pics on the fly within the smoky subconscious. Be the leader of your own free world, purveyor of the optic nerve. Serve whoever needs to be served, but don't ask me for that whatever humanitarian code, because the math from those heights can merely estimate the absurd. There's no white or black in any fully conscious state, just platelets, plasma, and a freed will to donate. Your entire life might become orchestrated into an unparalleled art project, especially when every inkling jailed within your cells gets instantly ingested and reflected by those shadowed and undue. So just try to keep it simple enough to maintain a fraction of the majority's quote status and do as many good deeds as you are able to manage. Maybe a Somali pirate in my next life. That's verse 1. I'll take a little breather, but I'm not going to go through the vocal melodies again. I don't really know yet, so they're not very established. Either the main hook, the parody in the NFL part, or the last parts. It's probably going to be something similar, though. Verse 2. A comedy of fools to approach the dawning with the upper hand, and a notice to vacate the mind-numbing reprimands. For the lifetime but service surely grants the promised land, but whose promise planned, and why do all these promises escalate through revelation-bound last stands? Googling diseases might make your eyes bleed, not like a miracle, but more akin to some midsummered lottery, with Florence Pugh crowned May Queen to dance away the rage, lust, and greed, and to renew the tribe's commodified collective esteem. Hopefully the greater human routine automates the noblest grace and replicates the allergy-free taste of paste to ensure nobody starves or wastes away in fear unlaced. As the casket never placates the ill-fated race to maintain some allegiance to our history constantly replaced. Maybe a Somali pirate in my next life. So that's basically, I'm kind of satisfied with these lines so far. How much does it relate to the story? Not much. But whenever I try to write a concept album like this, I'm not trying to write songs like Willie the Vegan was born in the I don't know. I'm not trying to tell the story like I'm people are reading the plot in my lyrics. I'm just trying to give what's in my head right now and reflect it through this fictional story that I'm trying to create. This is all on the fly, well, not really. The first verse I wrote about a week ago, and then the second verse I wrote today. But the story just came maybe last week or so, and the general concept was very new. I wasn't planning to do this for years or anything. Willie the Vegan, it's not based on anybody. It's not based on myself. I'm not Willie the Vegan, even though I'm a vegan. I met an older gentleman along my work during charity work a couple weeks ago, and he was an interesting fellow. I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to talk about people that I met while I'm doing charity work and stuff. But there was an interesting fellow who may or may not be named Willie, but I just like that name really. And I don't know, I just thought he was an interesting dude. He recommended this book about diet that was kind of cool, and maybe that was the impetus, but I just really don't really know. Willie the Vegan is completely a fictional character, but it has a good ring to it. Like Willie the Vegan sounds pretty cool. I don't know why, it just sounds cool to me at least. So it's just a linguistic element that I liked. Originally, this album was going to be all rap songs, and I was going to call the album Introversion Conversion, which is the title of the next song. And I don't know, I just didn't really feel like going that direction. I felt like it was going to be too heavy, and too cerebral, and I just want to have fun with this album somehow. I feel like I don't have fun with my art often anymore. Like I take it too seriously or whatever. People might laugh at grocery store cross-dressing at Goodwill. It's meant to make people laugh. I hope it does make people laugh a little bit. If you bought the book, there's some weird. I tried to make it like a workbook, a school workbook, and maybe some of the lyrics might paint references that people in my generation will laugh at. I don't know. It's tough when I don't get feedback because I don't really know how other people interpret stuff. I don't get feedback from anybody on any of my art, very rarely at least. But I would love to get feedback, good or bad. I welcome it. Even trolls that don't really have anything worthy to say, people who like don't even read, or people who don't even read a book or listen to an album, but they still troll the artist anyway. I've probably done stuff like that in my past, so I'm not completely innocent of the trolling aspect of social media. One time I was like trash talking to Matt Barkley when he was on the Eagles. He was like their third or fourth string quarterback. For some reason, I just felt like trash talking him. I think he actually replied to me, but it was kind of funny. But that's probably why athletes and celebrities stay off of social media, because it's so much stupid stuff. And yeah, that's probably the best advice you could give to anyone in high school right now, or college even. Just stay off of it. Use it sparingly, because it's almost like you're forced to use it now. And I use it just to share whatever I post on Substack. Substack is my main resource. My main therapy session is Substack. I think it is genuinely like a therapy thing to do Substack and write posts every week. So yeah, I'm grateful to have found it. But then I put it on Blue Sky. I put it on X, Twitter. I put whatever post on like LinkedIn and whatever else. Medium's good too. I tried to post everything to Substack and Medium, and I was doing YouTube videos, but I stopped doing that. Maybe I can do stuff again. I don't know. But I'm still banned from Facebook for whatever reason. I have no idea. But even if I was on Facebook, I would just use it as a business to try to get people to my Substack and my books on Amazon. That's pretty much all I would use Facebook for anyway. Like, I think it's basically a waste of time, but I would still rather be on it. I'm also on Instagram, which that's why I thought it was weird that I was banned from Facebook. It's the same company, Meta, right? That Instagram and Facebook. Instagram I just use very, very sparingly. I barely even go on there. Maybe once a week, twice a week. But I don't want to talk about social media anymore. The title of this song, Maybe a Somali Pirate in My Next Life, I just thought it was cool. It's interesting. You don't know where you're going to go next, if you believe in reincarnation or where your next life path might go. So I'm trying to look at life like that. Like it's a path that you just kind of go with the flow. That's kind of been my philosophy. And it's good and bad. I've talked about that before. It's good and bad. You don't have much stability sometimes if you just go with the flow, because other people might, what's the word I can't think of. Other people might manipulate and add some things that you don't like. I can't think of the word, interject, maybe. Other people might try to claim control of your path if you just go with the flow. So there's danger, but there's also danger with too structured of a life. Like I worked at a company for 10 years, did the same routine for 10 years, and it was fine. I made money, but was it really something that on my deathbed I'd be like, thank God I worked at that company for 10 years? Would that be something on my deathbed that I'm so proud of? No, I'll be proud of this art stuff, whether or not it's successful or not, because this is more genuine to what I think my identity is. But who knows? Like, you can be a lot of different things. Like Shel Silverstein, right? I talked about him before. Shel Silverstein, he was like my favorite book as a kid was Where the Sidewalk Ends, because it's kind of a morbid book. Where the Sidewalk Ends, it could be like almost like a trippy, folky metal album or something. Like, it could have so many different interpretations. And I remember the book cover, like I still remember it to this day. It's like people walking off a cliff or something. So I don't know why, I just always was drawn to that fun poetry as a kid. But he wrote songs. He was like in the Marines or some military. He wrote like that Boy Named Sue song for Johnny Cash and a couple other ones, I think. He has his own folk songs. Like, yeah, people can do a lot of different things. There's plenty of examples of actors who want to be musicians, musicians who want to be actors. Some of them pull it off, some of them don't, I guess. But you might as well try everything. I just listened to Bradley Cooper on Joe Rogan. It was pretty good. And it's cool because he's from North Philadelphia, so he's like a local dude, I guess. But it's a cool story. Or it's a good podcast if you want to think about art in a certain way. He goes in depth about certain things and his experiences. It's similar, I think, to a lot of people because you're always just doubting yourself. And it sucks because there's probably way talented people in acting, music, and everything else that never get anywhere because it's such a small avenue, or there's not a lot of opportunity to just do it yourself and make a living like that. So you just have to be happy to just make stuff and see where it goes. That's where I'm at, I guess. Besides doing this album, maybe that's why I'm only doing this once a week. I'm only doing like one song a week right now because my work schedule is kind of weird and I'm trying to do other stuff. I might even try to get into like a nursing career because I'm trying to change career paths to find something more stable, and maybe I could do that. I'm not sure what it would really entail as a male nurse. I never thought I would get into that, but I might try to branch out and try see if I can fit. And yeah, so that's probably why I'm only doing this once a week, so I don't try to force things out. It's kind of cool because I look forward to Sundays where I can write one song a week instead of trying to get all my jumbled thoughts out in like one night. Because that's what I was doing for a while. The Faith Healers album, which was all gospel songs, which I still really like. I think they're good gospel songs. That all came out pretty much in one night, like in 4 or 5 hours. I just kept getting gospel songs in my head. So this is different. I'm just forcing myself to do one song a week. And if any other musical inklings pop in my head, I'll just use it for something else later because I want this Willie the Vegan thing to just be written on or composed on Sundays. I don't have any instruments right now, but I could use like online stuff if I really want to experiment with beats and stuff like that. There are ways to create music without having actual instruments. So yeah, there's a lot of thoughts right now about where I'm going with this. But this song is just about, it's a good intro to this because I think this album deals with a lot of uncertainty in life, whether you're in high school, college, in your 40s, 50s, or in your 70s and 80s. Like, you never know what will pique your interest or where you're going to go next. And is that really a bad thing? Like, it could get dull, man. Your life could get dull if you follow a script that somebody else wrote for you, or this is how you should live your life by this age, by this age, by this age. And a lot of people live like that. And a lot of people are happy like that because it's stability. I'm not judging people that do that. It's just people who don't live like that shouldn't be judged either. Like, because there is no normal. Like, maybe that's a bad cliche. I'm using bad cliches too. Like, there's no normal. I don't know. Maybe there is, but who's to say? People will look back at how humanity lives today and be like, what a bunch of idiots. I don't know. I've talked about stuff like that before, so I don't want to rehash these thoughts. I don't have a lot of original thoughts right now about, I don't know, anything in general, so I'm just, instead of rehashing my somewhat hackneyed, some of my just regurgitated thoughts on life and whatever, liberty, free speech, censorship, social media, like, yeah, it becomes a drag to keep going back to these topics over and over again. It's like, once that happens, you just have to go towards the fiction avenue, I think. Try to create something fictional. And even, I'm trying to write a wacky cartoon animation to go along with these songs. Maybe I could make it into a children's book or in that style if I don't use any vulgarities or bad whatever. But what was I going to say? Like, even as I'm writing this, trying to outline where the story's going, it's coming back to cancel culture and censorship. It's still in there, like the search for enlightenment and a deeper understanding of the human condition and why people, I don't know, why people like to highlight differences and try to manipulate each other. So it's still in this story, and I'm trying to get away from that because I don't like thinking about that stuff all the time either. So it's weird. It's a balancing act, but I really want to keep this story kind of unique and different and just focus on just weird psychedelic stuff. Maybe I can just put elements of that into these songs as I go. But yeah, this album would take a while because I'm only going to do it once a week. But yeah, this is just a therapy session, really. But hopefully, I could write these songs and compose them into real songs. I mean, because that's the ultimate goal, to actually make music, not just do these song blueprints and let them just sit there for no reason. But yeah, it's better to at least get something out than if I wasn't creating stuff all the time. I don't know. I guess I'd just be doing other stuff. But this is a part of my existence, a part of my identity that I just keep doing.